What's up, guys? Crypto Muser here with your daily news and analysis in the crypto markets. Now, some quick updates in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. Surprise, surprise, once again, the SEC asked for another extension. Why this time, you ask? Well, they want to ask for an extension of time, only 7 days, by the way, so I guess it's not that much, but they want to ask for 7 more days so they can file their motion to object to the amici request by John Deaton. So John Deaton, the video I made a couple days ago, John Deaton came in. He's amici to the court, friends of the court, representing the 67,000 plus XRP holders. He wants to ask the court if he can see the report by the so-called expert witness from the SEC on, this expert witness is supposedly speaking on behalf of XRP holders and what they were thinking when they bought XRP. And obviously he's going to say that they were all thinking, us XRP holders, every single one of us, when we bought XRP, we were all thinking about Ripple and that we were signing or basically entering a contract with Ripple, investment contract with Ripple, and relying on Ripple for profits. But obviously, yes, some people maybe knew about Ripple and knew that Ripple had a lot to do with their investment into XRP, but I'd argue, and John Deaton will argue, more than half of XRP holders or XRP purchasers didn't even know Ripple, the company, what were, right? So with that, this so-called expert witness, if there was any reason for John Deaton to see a report in this case, it would be this report, right? Because if he's going to speak on behalf of XRP holders, then shouldn't John Deaton, the guy that represents 67,000 plus XRP holders, see that report? And shouldn't he, John Deaton, be able to, give a brief or some type of witness report on what actual XRP holders were thinking when they were buying XRP? Because I believe he has 3,000 plus affidavits from actual XRP holders and what they were thinking when they bought XRP. So is it any surprise that the SEC doesn't want John Deaton involved in this part of the case? I mean, obviously not. It would blow their this witness out of the water, right? And I have some more information about this so-called expert witness in a second here, but let's just read this. James Filan keeping us up to date on what's going on. The SEC has filed a motion for extension of time until June 7th, 2022 to file objection to amici request to participate in the briefing regarding the expert challenge. Now, like I said, obviously, they asked for an extension, and surprise, surprise, obviously the judge grants that request. So James Filan, a couple hours later, or I guess maybe the next day, the court has granted the SEC's motion for extension of time to file an opposition to amici's request to participate in the expert challenge. SEC's objection is due by June 7, 2022, and any responses to the objection are due by June 10, 2022. So Ripple's response to that objection, or John Deaton's response to that objection, is due 3 days later. When they asked for the extension, I think anybody at this point knows that the judge is going to grant them the extension. I mean, it was just an extra week, so at this point, what's an extra week, right? I mean, we're so used to delays in this case. I mean, why not another one, right? Why not the 30th time, right? So obviously they get the extension, and we'll get that. I really want to see what they're going to come up with to say that, XRP holders are not allowed to see what a so-called expert witness is telling the court what XRP holders are thinking when they're purchasing XRP. You think this, out of all the things the SEC are trying to argue in this case, you think they'd want the supposed, XRP investors are supposed to be protecting in this case, right? The reason why they went after Ripple in the first place was to protect investors, right? But they don't want any input from the actual investors that they're supposed to protect. I mean, oh my God, it's so ass backwards, this case. But let's see what hold on if this loads. Loading. JVXRP can't wait to see the reason they oppose the participation of the people they swore to protect. I thought protecting investors was the core mission. Hester Pierce, Gary Gensler, pathetic, right? Exactly what I just said. I mean, if there was ever a reason, like I said in the beginning, if there was ever a reason for John Deaton and the 67,000 XRP investors to be involved in this case, this is the exact reason, right? If the SEC has a supposed expert witness that's speaking on behalf of XRP investors, shouldn't the XRP investors have any say in that? Maybe? You think? I mean, common sense out the window, right? So here's where it gets even more interesting, guys. And this is just like, add another sign of corruption to the SEC. So look at this one, guys. Wait to hear this. And this is, by the way, just to let you know, this is Eleanor Tourette. She is Fox Business reporter. So this isn't some guy in the XRP community or some girl in the XRP community or some just random sleuth on the internet. This is a Fox Business reporter, right? They're not just going to throw this out there unless this is actually, based in fact. So now, Scoop, Patrick Doody, who is the supposed expert witness that the SEC has that's speaking on behalf of XRP holders. Patrick Doody, what a name, by the way, Doody. Not laughing, you're laughing. Patrick Doody, the independent expert that the SEC retained to analyze the perspective of the reasonable, in quotations, excuse me, reasonable purchaser of XRP, is currently employed by a private consulting firm that won a $4.1 million government contract in 2018. The contract was funded by the SEC. Oh my God. No, that's not a conflict of interest. No, right? The SEC's paying his law firm or his consulting firm $4.1 million in 2018. You think that's any incentive to maybe basically say whatever the SEC wants them to say? I mean, you can't make this shit up, guys. It's one thing after another. And this is the same guy that they hired for the Telegram case where, I mean, he said the same thing about the Telegram, the Graham supposed back then, right? He said that, people bought the Graham token and looked for Telegram, the company, for profits. At this point, nothing surprises me. Every time the SEC does something, it's like, oh, let's just wait for the signs of corruption and conflicts of interest to show up. Oh, there they are. And it's not like it's hard to find these things. And just so you know, just want to, people are like, oh, Eleanor Tourette, she's Fox Business. I don't believe Fox. I'm a left winger. I don't believe anything that Fox says, right? Well, guess what? Jeremy Hogan fact checked. Consider that fact checked. Definitive contract 5 blah blah is a time and materials federal contract award. It was awarded to the company that Patrick Doody, by the way, great name again, Patrick Doody works for, and Integra FEC LLC on April 9th, 2018. The definitive contract is funded by the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. The potential value of the reward, $4.1 million. Now, it's one thing people will argue, well, yeah, obviously, you hire a witness in the court, you're going to pay them money. So is that, obviously, they're going to get paid money. They're going to, give you the answers that you want. But, that's thousands of dollars maybe that, each side will pay witnesses to, expert witnesses, supposedly, to, give their testimony, right? But this is $4.1 million. This isn't a couple thousand, right? And this is to to Patrick Doody's firm, his firm that he works for, right? So obviously, if he works for the firm, he doesn't want to disappoint his company, right? He's obviously going to give the SEC what they want. Conflict, it's like, I mean, if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. So, and it's not like they didn't think that this was going to come up. I mean, did you really think that after everything that the XRP community has been coming up with, do you really think the SEC hired this guy, right? Did you not think this was going to come up? At this point, you know that the SEC does not care, right? They knew they were going to find this out, and they didn't care. Now, is the court going to do anything about this? Is Ripple going to go after this and, try to get rid of this witness? I hope so. And if the judge does not get rid of this witness on these conflicts of interest, then, do we have any faith in the justice system at all? I mean, I wouldn't, right? So I guess we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, like I said, nothing surprises me anymore in this case. So I guess we'll find out in the next couple months. But I mean, that's there. So I guess we'll find out. Oh my God. So Digital Asset Investor had a little thing to say, had a little something to say about this. So the SEC funds this company to provide experts to say what they need them to say in enforcement actions. Congress, where the hell are you? Representative Tom Emmer, Warren Davidson, Patrick McHenry, Representative Maxine Waters, Elizabeth Warren, Senator Loomis, Ted Cruz, Senator Toomey. Where is Congress? One thing I'll say, guys, I am so sick and tired of hearing all the talk and the typing on Twitter, all this big talk from these congressmen saying, "Oh, I can't believe what the SEC is doing." It's all talk. There's no action, and I feel like that's just politics, right? They always talk a big game and do nothing, right? Especially in an election year right now with the midterms coming up. Excuse me, the midterms coming up at the end of the year, and obviously they're all talking big games. And will they do anything? They usually don't, right? If you've been following politics at all, which most people don't, because why would you? But if you do, especially during election year, they have these big promises. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to, to obviously try to get elected, because it's a big popularity contest and these elections, and anybody can win, right? Anybody can run. That's the biggest bullshit thing about politics, is that anybody can run. You don't have to have any experience. You can be some schmo off the side of the street and come saying you're going to do this and that and get everybody to vote for you. And then you get in office and you don't have to do anything, right? You do nothing. And then guess what? You could just be a senator or congressman for a couple of years, and then you retire and you get that salary for the rest of your life. You get free healthcare for the rest of your life. This is such an ass-backward system. It makes no sense to me, right? Most people don't know that. Most people have no idea that once you become a senator or representative, you get a salary for the rest of your life. I mean, why? You win a popularity contest and you get paid by taxpayer money for the rest of your life? It makes zero sense to me. It makes zero sense to anybody that actually would know that that's a thing. Not going to rant anymore. I'm done with that. Okay, so next, moving on. So Digital Asset Investor also had a little something to say about Hester Peirce, who all of a sudden, I'll give it to Hester Peirce. She definitely, you can tell she's in a bad spot. She works for she obviously is the commissioner at the SEC, but she is just sitting there with her hands tied behind her back at this point, and she really can't do anything. Gary Gensler is taking control of the SEC and basically doing whatever he wants. And she keeps hinting that she doesn't like what they're doing, but she really can't do anything about it. But, I feel like she could do more, right? I think everybody thinks she could do more. So this is CNBC put this out. SEC's Hester Peirce says the U.S. has dropped the ball on crypto regulation. No shit, Sherlock. Obviously they dropped the ball. You have Japan's SEC, basically. You have UK, Euro, all these other, Singapore, all these other countries around the world have come up with real regulation, or basically real regulation for the crypto space, and the U.S. lags. And honestly, what the U.S. is doing, they're just attacking the crypto space. They don't want to give you regulation. They want to just keep it as vague as possible. So when you guess basically on what you're doing, then they can slap a lawsuit on you and basically put you out of business and sue you for millions of dollars. That's the U.S. way. It's all about money, right? And it's killing innovation in this country, and it's sad to see. And hopefully something changes. And I just went on a rant about the congressmen in this country. Hopefully at some point they will do something. I have little faith, but hopefully, right? We got to have hope. Moving on. So, Jason, so this is something interesting. I saw this chart yesterday, and this is telling me that we might have hit a bottom here, right? The signs are that if we didn't hit a bottom, we're very close to it, right? So this is just, look at this chart. So what this chart is, just in time to capitalize on worries and make your weekend miserable, journalists published over 3,700 articles about bear markets on Friday alone. Only a single day in the past decade, a day in the S&P 500 dropped nearly 10%, eclipsed this level of fear and fear peddling. So when they really, when the mainstream media and all these people on the Fox News and whatever, all these news agencies, right? When they start peddling the fear, right? That, oh my God, we're getting into it. We're going to be in a depression. It's going to be a recession, all this, fear. That's usually a sign that we're close to the bottom. So let's just zoom in on this chart here. So this is the graph of the S&P 500. So this back here is the March sell-off, right? The COVID sell-off, right? That's the most we had. It was almost 6,000 articles of bear market calls, right? That was a sign of the bottom, obviously, right? That's big spike right there was a sign of the bottom. And then we started going up. So the next spike, look what we got here. Almost 4,000 articles of bear market now. I'm not saying this is the bottom, guys, but I mean, if there was ever a sign that we're getting close to it, is this right here. When everybody and their mother is screaming out bear market, we're going to be in a bear market forever. And we have 4,000 plus articles coming now. Maybe a sign, right? Not financial advice, guys. I'm dollar cost averaging right now because when I see this much fear in the market, I scoop that shit up. That's just my investment strategy. You do your own research. But, when there's fear in the market, when we've sat in the fear and greed index at, basically single digit and then, up to anywhere from 8 to basically 15 on the fear and greed index, that's usually when I start dollar cost averaging. But that's just me. Like I said, not financial advice. So take that information and do what you will. But moving on. So I'll end this video with this. Now, Eleanor Tourette, this was, she put this out there, but a lot of people were saying this because he mentioned this at Davos weekend for the World Economic Forum. But this is something that he's been basically hinting at for the last couple of years, but it is happening, guys. So something Charles Gasparino and I reported back in January, Ripple will explore an IPO after SEC lawsuit ends, CEO Brad Garlinghouse says. So it's going to happen, guys. As soon as this lawsuit is over, Ripple will IPO and go public. And I've said this many times on this channel, but Ripple is going to be one of the biggest companies in the world. You see where crypto is going in this world, right? In the world of finance. And especially if you were paying attention to Davos at the World Economic Forum this past weekend, I think you've noticed a trend, maybe. Crypto is, even Brad Garlinghouse mentioned, when he was there 4 years ago, crypto was like a bad word, right? Everybody's like, oh, that crypto thing, we're not getting involved in that. 4 years later here now in Davos, very different. There were, dozens of crypto companies that were involved, or representatives in the crypto world that were involved in Davos this year. And I'm telling you, banks feel much more comfortable. If you see what JP Morgan, a couple years ago, they were saying this, it was basically rat poison. And now they're saying that, they like it better than real estate. I mean, the things have changed very quickly, guys. So you see where this space is going. When this lawsuit is over, Ripple will IPO. And I'm just telling you guys, it's going to be one of the biggest companies ever. If you're an accredited investor, which I am not. I wish that those accredited investor rules are bogus. Can't believe that I could rant for another hour about that. But if you are an accredited investor, you can invest in pre-IPO companies like Ripple on Link2. I'm not sponsored by Link2 or anything, but that's the one platform I know that does offer pre-IPO companies like Ripple. If I was an accredited investor, I would be, scooping it up right now, but I am not. So hopefully they said they were working on in some ways for, people that are not accredited to buy on their platform, but they're still working on that. But in the video there, Ripple will IPO when this lawsuit is over. When this lawsuit is over, when that's going to happen, I mean, we can all guess, right? But I think it sometime at the end of the summer, I still think August, September is still when this settlement will come in, I believe. I just don't think the SEC will take this the whole way. I think they know it's a losing battle, but they're trying to delay as much as possible, which keeps the power in the SEC's hands at the moment. But I see that power, either going with the CFTC in the future and either Congress or this lawsuit or in some way that will happen in the future. But I guess time will tell. But I'll end the video there, guys. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. But remember, I am not a financial advisor. Please do not take anything I write or say as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And thanks, guys. And we'll see you on the next one.